Hey guys, let's get more news about Miami Heat, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Tyler Herro's Celtics comment proves they are elite at this NBA necessity. The Boston Celtics have built an elite roster, and last year, it paid off with an NBA championship. While trades landed them the likes of Derek White, Drew Holiday, and Kristaps Porzingis, they got Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown through the draft. And they almost had Tyler Herro, too. During a recent appearance on the OGs, a podcast hosted by former Miami Heat players Udonis Haslem and Mike Miller, Herro revealed that the Celtics almost picked him in the 2019 NBA draft. However, Miami jumped in ahead of the Celtics and selected him instead, stealing him away from Boston. And that's a great look for the Celtics. Well, at the very least, it proves that they know what they're doing. When I seen the numbers on the teams of where they were drafting, and I seen Miami was 13, I was set on Miami months prior before the even draft, Herro said. It was just like a dream to go to Miami. And on draft night, the Celtics had the 14th pick, and they had already guaranteed me the pick for the most part. And then, Miami took me right before at 13. Celtics fans may not be the biggest fans of Herro now, but there's no denying that he's turned into an incredible player. He's having an all-star caliber season right now. Through his first 35 games of the 2024-25 season, Herro is averaging 23.6 points, 5.6 rebounds, and 5.0 assists, while shooting an impressive 46.9% from the floor and 40.1% from beyond the three-point line. Obviously, taking Tatum and Brown with top 3 picks was impressive, but that's not the extent of Boston's draft success. They also managed to find Peyton Pritchard with the 26th pick in the 2020 NBA draft. That's without even mentioning them finding Sam Hauser in undrafted free agency. The fact that the Celtics not only had their eyes on Herro but gave him a guarantee had he fallen to pick number 14 proves that they are elite when it comes to drafting players. Even now, it looks like Jordan Walsh is on his way to turning into a quality NBA player. And while Aaron Nesmith didn't stick around with the team, he is now a rotation piece on an Indiana Pacers squad that made the Eastern Conference Finals last year. Obviously, every team has their misses. Romeo Langford would like a word, but for the most part, the Celtics have been great at drafting solid players all over the board. With how much CBA restrictions hurt spending nowadays, drafting well might be one of the most important skills in the NBA. And Boston zeroing in on Herro, even though they didn't get him, is just another example proving how great they are at it. Miami Heat first-round pick taking full advantage of Jimmy Butler's suspension. After getting the doors blown off last Saturday at home against the Utah Jazz, the Miami Heat got their revenge against Utah as they stormed into Salt Lake City Thursday night and picked up a 97-92 victory at Delta Center. When Jimmy Butler's suspension was announced, a majority of the fanbase was trying to figure out where he might get traded. But the flip side of the coin was seeing who on the Heat would step up to fill Butler's void. So far, Jamie Jaquez Jr. is making the most of the opportunity and is providing Heat Nation with a ray of light in midst of the dark cloud that Butler's trade request put over the organization. Since being inserted into the starting lineup, Jaquez is averaging 16.8 points, 6.5 rebounds, and 5.5 assists, while shooting a very efficient 54.5% from the floor. This is very encouraging for Jaquez, who prior to Butler's suspension was dealing with a very hard sophomore slump. What I loved in this game that went beyond the impressive stat line was how Jaquez closed out the game for the Heat and helped avoid losing to a team that only had 2 wins at home. The first play was set up after the Jazz won a challenge that would have put Jaquez at the line for 2 free throws. The outcome ended up being even better for the Heat, as after the jump ball was secured, Jaquez used a Bam Adebayo screen to free himself up for a top-of-the-key three-pointer that ended up going in and increasing the Heat lead to 5. And a few possessions later, Jaquez was fouled with the Heat up 3 and stepped up to the line with the opportunity to ice the game. The last time Jaquez had the opportunity to increase at the line late in the game was Monday night at Sacramento, where he missed both to keep the Kings alive. In this instance, Jaquez easily made both free throws and shut the door on Utah's comeback attempt. I would love to see Jaquez continue to carry this momentum into the next 3 games and close out the road trip strong. But it will be really interesting given that once the trip ends, Butler is set to rejoin the team given the Heat cannot find a trade. In a scenario where that happens, the last thing I want to see is another step back from the young players that are thriving, such as Jaquez and also Nikola Jovic. Draymond Green's bold prediction on Jimmy Butler saga. 4-time Warriors champion Draymond Green has shared his candid thoughts about the Jimmy Butler situation in Miami. In LeBron James fashion, Green says he saw the Butler and Heat coming from a mile away. "I think they definitely are at the end of the rope," Green said on the Draymond Green Show. "I've actually been hearing for the last couple years that they were kind of tired of Jimmy was kind of tired of them. I think Jimmy was kind of a little more so, just enjoying living in Miami. I'm not one of those media people that make up stories. I'm not saying enjoying living in Miami like Jimmy's a partier, Jimmy don't go out. So I'm not saying that, but living in Miami is a beautiful thing. And so I think he just more enjoys so his life and what comes with him being the face of the Miami Heat. Again, Jimmy's a very serious guy, takes his craft very serious, works his ass off. So I don't want this to come off the wrong way. I just think he had a good thing there where he's going to the NBA Finals, he's the man in Miami, and I think all of those things made what he was going through bearable. That's what I'm trying to get at. And I think it's just reached a point now where you're like, what do I have left, 3 more years, maybe? I'm going to live in Miami for the rest of my life after 3 years anyway. And so I think you start to get to that point, where I think Jimmy's as competitive as they come, wants to win a championship." Draymond went on to explain how he sees the saga playing out in 2 different ways. "What I believe the outcome is going to be, everybody's like, Jimmy's going here, Jimmy's going there. I think Pat Riley is Pat Riley, y'all have heard the stories of who Pat Riley is and how Pat Riley is, just like I have," Green shared. "I can see 2 things happening. I can see Pat Riley sending Jimmy Butler to a team, an organization that he absolutely hates, that's garbage. I can also see Pat Riley saying, hey, go home for the rest of the year. Just go home, we'll pay you. It's fine, go home. We're not trading you anywhere." And I can see that scenario as well. But the scenario I don't see just Jimmy back in good graces with them and Jimmy being who Jimmy is. I don't see that. I think it's too far past gone. When stuff starts getting to the media, when stuff starts getting public, it's no longer in your control anyway. It's completely taken over by public opinion, and it's just hard to make it work. I think they've reached the end of the road. And you, fan? What do you think of the situation of Draymond Green? Leave your opinion in the comments.